Hello. Hello.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday Soul Search episode
10 double
10.
figures. We're in double figures of subscriptions as well, but we still need you to view it. And we still need you to comment. And I think that's something I've noticed, because obviously I do the techie. If you are watching it, please do comment under it. Although it's not live when you're watching it, we still see the comments. And if there's something that you don't agree with, or something you want to discuss, or something you want to add to, please do. And we will interact that way, because the more interaction we get, the more we appreciate you might be enjoying it.
Yeah, please
Yeah.
let us know. And
Yeah.
subscription is absolutely free, so please don't think that you're going to have to be signed up to something monthly,
Yeah.
because you're not.
But the whole idea is actually that you interact as well, and that we get your views. It's not just about what we think. Also, in the week, someone mentioned to me that our show talks about different subjects. Well, yeah, it does. It talks about everyday subjects that we know comes up in our everyday life, in our everyday work. So we talk about it because it's talked about a lot. So to us, it is current subjects, because it's something that we'll never, we've talked about religion, we've talked about weight, we've talked about Christmas, and we've got part 2 coming. We've talked about subjects that are relevant at the time. We did a Halloween one, so they are relevant. And also, if people are meaning we're not discussing media, neither of us are followers of the mainstream media. We haven't done for some time, especially during the COVID times. We were not watching that. We are opinionated on the media, maybe. And I've noticed myself, if I do share something even on my socials, people that normally would watch and follow or share my everyday fluffy stuff, as soon as I share anything serious that may be media related, I very rarely get seen. So in my opinion, it is controlled. Everything we do is controlled. Even this YouTube maybe is getting controlled. That's why we're not seeing the viewers, who knows. But we are not ignorant to what is going on in the world, far from it. And we have got more juicier subjects to talk about. We were just breaking you all in gently.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what comes up. I don't watch any news at all. I watch Netflix. I don't, I unfollow people that are really heavy with things on the internet, because I cannot be doing with it sometimes. It's just like a nightmare. And if I do sound or look a little bit rough today, I do sound and feel rough today. And I apologise to Jane, who's got her guard up.
I've got my guard. I've got my spiritual guard up.
So God knows what I've got, but hey.
But yeah, so it's not, and like Polly said, she doesn't watch it. I research stuff because that's just my logic-y Virgo brain, and because I worked for so many years in education and I did health studies and stuff like that. Of course I'm going to be interested in what's going on in the background, because I'm always interested, but I don't believe everything I see. That said, I will just get this off. So today's show is about Christmas again. It's part 2 from last week, if you watched it. Last week was about the commercial side. This side's a bit more about how it affects people, the pressure it's put on people. But there's 2 things running at the moment, not on media, because media won't even run it. One is the COVID inquiry on the vaccines. Hardly anyone's seen it. I am watching that. There's a lot of controversy on that as well.
I tried to watch that, but for some reason my internet went down yesterday.
It's the whistleblowing of how things were done with the police, and it's the whistleblowing of what actually the COVID vaccine has done. So that I found that quite interesting, and we will probably do a show eventually on COVID. We just didn't want to depress people. So it is fascinating, because it's an ex-police constable that's leaking this stuff, and it's a solicitor that's been working on it tirelessly. But there is somebody else now in the background saying that they have been planted by the government or the powers that be. I'm not saying the government, in case anyone wants. That's allegedly. I'm just, like I said, I know. I am watching and following what other people said. This is not me. This is just me watching. And they're saying these are plants that are also, that they're trying every angle possible. So that is quite interesting. And when I've got more detail on that, we probably will talk about that. And then there's the other story that's always popping up since that young girl died. The girl, we have brought her up before, that died because they said the mum refused to have a medicine and said only a holistic approach. She died from cancer.
Right.
I went into that, especially after we talked about it on this show, and it turns out the mother is saying she never had cancer. It's quite an interesting read.
Right.
She has a massive following, and she is somebody else that is saying there's more to this behind the scenes. And just recently,
Don't know anything about that.
This is my Virgo logical brain. I go have a good old doubt. I am not a conspiracist, never have been. I believe my gut. If my gut says it's not right, I'm not. That's it. If I think it doesn't sound right or look right, it's a knowing with me. as Polly knows, one of my psychic things is
Yeah,
just I
exactly.
know. I just know, and I don't know. I can't explain why I know. I've tried to explain it. I've looked at my own brain. I've done psychic counselling, spiritual counselling, psychology, you name it. I don't know why my brain's like this, but it is. But I just knew when things weren't right. It is an interesting follow as well. So there'll be more on that, because now we're seeing a mother on the storylines, even you can't miss it on social media anyway, that has apparently let her daughter die because she refused to have conventional medicine because she works in a holistic way herself. And now when I'm diving into it, there's more to that story than meets the eye. So this is why we don't cover media stories, because the media's only giving you a version. I go behind the scenes and have a good old look.
Oh, God, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
we will get into the nitty gritty of
we'll
that.
do that
But
another day.
today, so I'm sorry if people think we should be talking about what was on the news last night. It's not happening. It's not the 9 o'clock news. This is not the 10 o'clock news or anything else news. This is our version of our views. Views and news. But today is
Views and
Christmas
twos.
part 2. And this probably, we are what, 22 days?
Not for long.
23 days till Christmas Eve, something like that. Not long at all. And obviously this is the time of year when everyone is stressed. So last week we talked about the commercial pressure, the retail pressure that literally is out in the shops in spring, probably just after Easter. And then obviously how we all were rushing around trying to get the present everyone wants, or buy presents that actually no one wants, and waste our money or put ourselves in debt. So now this is the reverse side.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because so many people put so much pressure upon Christmas, which is just one day. Really, it is a day, even though it starts.
Well, it's only one day in America. We got Boxing Day. Why have we got Boxing Day? I bet a lot of people don't even know what Boxing Day is all about.
Is it to Boxable?
No, Boxing Day, it comes from the old days. It's English. It's obviously that's why we have it and Americans and other countries don't. Boxing Day was the day the staff had off in the old-fashioned servants, and they had it off and did their presents.
Had it off?
Had it on the day off because they worked very hard on it. Back in the Victorian times in the 18th and 19th century, and that was their day, and it was called Boxing Day because they swapped their presents, probably boxes, because they weren't paid very well. I don't know, but that is why English have a Boxing Day. It was to acknowledge the servants for well-to-do families in our very old traditions as English people. Yeah, our traditions are literally going out. The traditions are going right out the window at the moment. But anyway, so that's why we have a Boxing Day. And no one else does. But it is one day.
Yeah,
it's one day.
It's one day. And people put so much pressure upon that day. I can remember years and years and years ago when I don't know what was going on in my little brain. I was living in Hayling Island near Portsmouth, and I decided not to go back for Christmas for 1 year, but I don't know why. And I felt really sorry for myself that day.
Oh, for a minute there, I thought back to Portsmouth. Not that far, but you mean Leicestershire.
Yeah, I went to...
Explain where you come from.
I come from Leicestershire. But for some reason, a few of us, it was like, I don't know, I was really thinking, oh, now I'm feeling sorry for myself, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not doing Christmas. But then went out Christmas Eve, had such a laugh, and then we went skinny dipping on Christmas Day. It was the funnest thing ever. Anyway,
but that's an interesting fact then, Polly, because I'm going to start also doing a bit of fact finding before we go on here now, in case anyone thinks we just spout off rubbish. So I did a bit of fact finding on Christmas, and do you know that there's still quite a percentage now that spend Christmas on their own, and people assume it's the elderly, either because they've not got a partner no more, or they've been on their own. I mean, they may not have ever married, and there's no family, so they're spending on their own, and they're cold and they're lonely and all that. But do you know what the biggest age group is for spending it on your own?
All right.
No.
Young?
Yeah.
Really?
I was quite shocked. It was the young generation choose to spend it on their own. And I actually looked at it and thought, is that because they're becoming non-interested? Because obviously it's the youngsters. It was all about Christmas, wasn't it? We said with kids last week.
My son
isn't
that bothered about it. I mean, he's coming probably for his presents. That's it.
But it was really weird. So they're choosing to spend it on their own.
Yeah, but he's not particularly sentimental, my youngest. Whereas, my daughter, she would be well into Christmas. She's well into Christmas. I remember when they were younger, they went to New York with their dad.
I love New York.
Well, they did love New York, but my daughter
before.
said, it's not even though it's Christmassy, Christmas Day wasn't Christmas because...
Well, it wouldn't be there, would it?
But because you're in a hotel room.
Exactly.
And even though they saw these things and it had an adventure of a lifetime and had such a good time, but she said, Chris, I'd never want to do that again, be away for Christmas.
The whole build up to Christmas, I think, is like the thing. And then the Christmas comes and it's like an anticlimax. Now, I'm reading this off
Christmas Day is nice. I like Christmas
Christmas Day
Day.
is
I
nice
hate the
because it's the
run-up.
day. I hate the fact that when I've done cooking for 30 plus years, I love cooking. I've always loved cooking from scratch. But obviously, as I've got more unwell and I've got more older and the kids are older, I have thought, oh God, yeah, just throw gravy granules in. I used to make my gravy from scratch. I used to make everything from scratch. You name it, I did it. But it's like now they're not going to notice. I just eat it. But this is what I found, and AI told me this, so I can't take. This is true either. But 1 in 9 people in the UK spend Christmas alone. One
Right.
in 9. That figure has doubled since 1969. And I was born in 66, and I remember the 70s Christmas being really cheesy, the long dresses, the little tiny iced cake and a trifle with the fruit in. We talked about that last week. And it was fun. I remember, and my family came, my cousins came on Christmas, Boxing Day to us, but Christmas night we went to them after we had dinner. And it was just all about family. It was about being with my cousins. And, and I've tried to still keep that going in my own family, but obviously our families have moved away. And like I said, the younger generation don't care. They're, oh no, I'm off on holiday, sitting in Mauritius.
Some of them, I mean, I've noticed so many people, because when I was went on holiday in October, I joined the chat group of the place because I don't know why I did, but I did. Anyway, I don't usually do that sort of thing, but so many people are going on holiday abroad now, and so many people are, thinking, sod it, I'm just going to go and lay in the sun. Do you know, that sounds appealing. I'm one of them that if I'm going to have Christmas, I'm going to have it with my family. We're all going, funnily enough, to my ex's house for Christmas. But we're, the kids, the grandkids, obviously my partner, but we all get on. It's all good.
Well, I get on with, like I said, I get on with my first husband.
But it's nice.
It's
nice
the idea of
to do
being in the
that,
sun is
isn't it?
nice, isn't it? Oh yeah, but I think
But I
I'd
still
like
want-
it. The tradition though, Christmas, I would struggle with. So I'd have to go somewhere snowy. And actually, that's probably not a good idea because my last snowing holiday in Iceland, I ended up coming off a snowmobile and was trapped under it. And that was before I broke my leg and damaged the other one. So if I couldn't even get on a snowmobile now if I wanted to.
I have to go on the snowmobile.
I wanted to feel like James Bond. But anyway, getting back to
James Bond.
this is the age group that are spending Christmas on their own between 21 and 34 years of age. They spend it alone and have been doing so, and it's been doubling up in numbers there. So although we assume it's old people, and it probably is as well, it clearly is not what people are assuming it is. And what I got thinking...
Does it say why?
It just said that's been significant amount changed. They said about younger adults has risen dramatically. It didn't say why. AI is not that informative, is it, clearly?
No, it doesn't care.
I have an opinion why, and I could be wrong, but you know me, I am...
Opinionated.
I am opinionated. But also, when something happens to me personally, I start delving into it in a more bigger picture to see how it's affecting other people. I think it's to do with the homelessness, runaways, maybe, that have become homeless.
But I don't know if that...
And I wonder if it's mental health.
Maybe. I think there's probably a lot of reasons. I mean, if you think about... as well, that whole other side where you've got people that are really business minded and everything. You've probably got a lot of people that maybe...
But it hasn't given the statistics for that, and that's why I thought interesting. That would make sense.
Or like, because, at that age, that's when they're at when I say their pinnacle of their, like, I'm going to go and do this, I'm going to do that, this is where I want to be, this I want to achieve.
So that makes perfect sense for a go-getter business person who's probably somewhere laying on a beach in Mauritius, isn't they? Yeah. So that makes sense. But I think for me, where I've encountered so much mental health with my own family...
I just don't know if they'd count that in that.
Oh, I think they would.
Do you?
Oh, yeah, I think they would.
But homelessness...
And I think probably because my own son turned his back on us all at Christmas. And that's probably why it sits more because of his mental health. So I'm wondering if it is more to do with... Because more and more people, when I worked in the NHS... we're coming through the door with mental health of a really young age group. And more of that has happened since COVID. But like we said, today's the seed for Christmas.
Well,
COVID.
COVID's the root of all evil.
So it's an interesting fact. And anyone out there, if anyone out there is in that age group, and I have children between 23 and 36, and that's interesting because I would hate to think of my children being on their own. It really pained me when my eldest pulled away with his mental health and was on his own, and the consequences of that afterwards. Were obviously quite dire anyway because of what happened in the new year. And that was the other interesting statistics. As I then looked, and I did say this was the more depressing side of Christmas, I looked at suicide rates because we always see that happening we hear about it on media, social media and whatever else. So I thought, I don't think it is Christmas. So I put that in, and it's actually New Year's Day has got the highest suicide rate.
Has it?
And I'm not surprised after going through Christmas if you've had a bit of a
If you've had a horrible time. I mean,
or your mental health has took a dive, or you've spent the time on your own.
The other thing is, I would say that, you think about, and no, you've got first-hand thing about this, but, all those people that have been taken away from their families, their children, and going through court. I mean, some of them are just, some of them, would have good reason to have left their partner. And I'm talking male and female, because we all know that we can get, there's just as much hidden men's abuse in domestic abuse as there is women. These people have literally feel like they've got no hope. And you imagine then you get to New Year's, everyone's celebrating New Year. I actually don't. It's not to you. We sat in a shed a couple of years ago, didn't we?
I haven't celebrated. Yeah, I haven't celebrated New Year since I was younger, and then I used to think what an anticlimax, because you paid double for the tickets, and that was then. And then I'd be home just after midnight, thinking, "What a washout that was."
Yeah.
This is as a young person, and then obviously during having children, I just thought, "Oh, it's family orientated. Let's do." And it was nice when I spent it with my dad, because I used to go stay at his, and that was nice, but. Yeah, New Year's Day for me is that New Year's Eve and the New Year's Day is a little bit of a, let's sit down. Because I've had children since I was 23, so it's not as easy to go out babysitting. But I was out every New Year's Eve up until I got pregnant,
But you think about, like what I was saying, you think all these people saying, oh, this is going to be my year. I remember I've never said that since 2019, 2020, when obviously COVID happened. I was like, no, never saying that again. But, all these people saying, oh, this is going to be great. I've got this going on, this going on, this going on. And then there's that person who's been segregated from their families or accused of things that they haven't done. And it's been taken through court, not seeing their children, not seeing their families, and the absolute pits of despair they must be at.
Well, again,
well, that's what I mean. That's
personally. And again, and this will be a show that we will talk about, and I know it's going to upset a lot of people out there that know me personally, but quite frankly, I can have my views and no one can stop me, not even a court case. We will talk about parent and grandparent alienation. It is something that's very personal to me. I'm alienated from two of my oldest grandchildren. My son is alienated from those children. There are clients of mine that are going through absolute hell. Women and men, not just men, women being kept from their children.
Got a few people that I know that have been segregated from their children.
I have friends and acquaintances on Facebook, but they are people that I've known and met. They are also alienated from their grandchildren. They have some grandchildren. They don't have other grandchildren there. I haven't gone into the reasons and why of friends, like associated friends, not close friends. And it is really hard. And this will be my third Christmas without seeing my older grandchildren. They always came to me on Boxing Day with mum and dad, and then with mum when dad alienated his old family, and then they were stopped because I called her out on something. But I won't hold back. If I think something's wrong, I will say it. I don't care. I've been punished for it, but I don't care. I was believed that I was right in doing what I was doing, and I don't like liars. So I don't like seeing my son suffer at Christmas. It's the hardest time of the year for him. He never coped with it as a child. That was probably the ADHD that we now know he's got, but he never coped well for Christmas. It was out of routine. It was too much. And I now realise the pressure that, and we will do a show on that, ADHD.
I worked in schools and the kids were off the wall. I mean, obviously you have children with ADHD or even slightly on
any sensory issues. I mean, I've just watched somebody again that can't have a Christmas tree up because their autistic son literally cannot bear the lights in the tree and start. You really don't understand with sensory issues or any kind of mental illness, and ADHD does sit under the mental well-being, how much that affects people. And again, we will do a whole show on that because
Christmas shopping scares me out.
Well, we probably both acknowledge we've got ADHD, so that's why. But it is funny because I can't have flicking lights on the Christmas tree. It literally sends me into an overload. So it's interesting.
Mind that. No, they're teeny.
And I can't have coloured ones either. Keep them coloured ones away from me.
Because they're very 80s.
Could be that. But I have the traditional Christmas tree. I still have the coloured of tradition. I don't match my baubles. Well, actually, that's a lie because I've just bought these. because I've got teal sofa. But that's actually, I still have tradition on my Christmas tree. I still have a green tree, not a white.
Earrings that matched.
Yeah, I did think that matched that. I do like blue, but I have the reds, the greens, the golds, and the silvery stars and all that on it. But the blue, I thought, because I've got a bigger tree this year, would actually just blend in a bit. But I have no coloured theme as people have. I don't have the Grinch or the sugar candy one. It's a tree. Get over it. Put it up. But anyway,
a tree for £15 from B&M, and my other half said that looks as bold as my head. And when you look at it, it's the most pathetic tree you've ever seen. But it was 15 quid, and I couldn't be bothered to get the one at the loft.
So again, with what goes on with people at Christmas, there's so many issues that can sentiment overload. But we will talk about ADHD and other mental illnesses. We will talk about parent and grandparent alienation on another show, but the link to that is, Christmas for people that are being alienated from their children or their grandchildren, even adult children who decide not to want anything to do with their parents and vice versa. It still must be a tough time. So it makes sense that come New Year's Day, people that are struggling would consider taking their life. And again, from personal experience, I know this, and it is one of the most painful things to see your own child suffering and your own child feeling that low, and you really can't do anything about it, because when they're in that dark place, you can't bring them out. And after working with mental health people, working in the NHS acute medicine world and seeing so much mental health coming in acute medicine, and working as a psychic counsellor and spiritual counsellor, it really pains me how much that actually affects people this time of year, the onus that's put on this time of year. And I know, like with AA, I have a family member that obviously is involved in that, and that is such a time of year they have to keep together in that their groups to get through that festive period, like other festive periods, Easter and that, because that is when people have pushed their limits. So if you are in any kind of recovery, you are going to slip back if that pressure's put on you, or you're going to go back into that dark cloud if you've got any kind of mental illness.
Yeah. I think all in all, I mean, I think we've got to see it for what it is. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have Christmas Day on Christmas Day. It doesn't matter if there's presents. It doesn't matter. You don't have to feel pressured. I know that we want to, or do something if you're short of money, do something in the family where you all do a secret Santa. Everyone's got to take the pressure off what is just a day. I mean, if you're religious, you might want to go to midnight mass on Christmas Eve. That might do you. It might be that you are alone and you've got your animals, your pets, and that's absolutely fine. You don't have to make it into a big deal. I mean, if you are religious, obviously it's going to be a bigger day than if you're not. But it's so, when we talk about commercialised, it's like everything is pressure, pressure, pressure. From the moment Halloween's finished, pressure, pressure, pressure. Adverts, adverts, adverts. It's like all these like gushy adverts and things like that.
Just as we said,
you've got to have this perfect day with matching pajamas. Oh,
but that's a new thing. Let's be fair.
Started.
That's a new thing. When did that happen? When did I blink
Probably
and everyone woke up in the same pajamas?
Probably the same time as bloody balloon arches, which do my nut.
And the elf on the shelf.
Oh God!
Which I think is quite cute, but oh my God, what pressure it must be!
24 days worth of trying to find something to do.
Well, I went shopping with my daughter yesterday, and I said to her, we were walking, we had a trolley each for the babies, and the oldest one was with me, and like I said, it's just his birthday, and he's going, Nanny, I want this, Nanny, I want that. I ended up buying him Sonic the Hedgehog lunchbox, which he hasn't even started school yet, but he liked it, and he could use it as a shopping bag to come around Nanny, so I don't care. But anyway, and I'm having to bypass certain things because I went, don't go down that one with him because I've bought something off that shelf and it's it. And I'm like, and then we went past the Christmas stuff, and I went, oh, have you done the I went, Amy, I went, have you done the the elf thing? She went, no, I have not.
No,
and I laughed and I went, but he's 4 now. You got to. She went, did you do it for me? And I went, and again, I wouldn't have done it. I mean, I sort of think it's fun, but I now see everyone going, "Oh God, I've got to get that elf out again."
But
even, 24 days.
There's even a thing on Facebook where it gives you ideas of what you could do, which I think I'd be logging into if I had to do it. We had to do it with my partner's daughter, but I don't think she might be growing out of that now. But Yeah, I don't think my daughter's gone down that route yet, and I think she'll try and avoid it as much as possible because it's just another thing to do, isn't it? It's like I mean, don't get me wrong,
But what
the
happens
kids
if they
get
go to school? Frankie's just started and he comes home and goes, so and so's got out from the shower. Because that's the pressure again. So and
yeah.
so's got out from the shower. And then you start thinking, oh, God, have I got to do it?
Well, they've got about 7 advent calendars each, so hopefully that'll keep them
Oh, and see
occupied.
that. When did an advent calendar get chocolate? And I know that was some years ago because I bought them for mine.
Well,
But
yeah.
you opened up the window and see the nativity play. Well, you got to 24 and it was a great big star. All right, we've upped our game.
It was a bit crap.
But I mean,
But we owned it, didn't we?
it's like, I mean, I shouldn't laugh. I'm an ambassador for Tropics, yeah, and I love the range. But they bring out a Christmas advent of a little tiny pots of Tropic in, and it's like 200 quid to buy for a customer.
Jesus.
I mean, obviously we get it cheaper, and then they do a special on it. But I'm like,
well, how much cheaper? I still
they're not the only one to do it. Look at any skincare range, anything. They're all candles. You can get one with candles in.
Crystals.
You can get one with tea bags in. You can get honest. What was the other day I looked at? It was in Lidl's or Aldi's, and I don't know if I'm allowed to talk. Well, we've said it.
Well,
So
I've just said loads of shops.
Yeah,
It
it was in there, and it's something in there that you open up, and I think it's those weird biscuits. Anyway, I just laugh now. I think, God, you'd be full up, wouldn't you, by the time Christmas Day comes? Because you've been eating all that
I've
lot.
got to be honest, though, I did get my grandkids and my daughter and her partner. I got them all advent calendars, but then I got the kids. I got Frankie a Sonic one, not Sonic, Mario one with little figures in, and then I got Harper one that had little squishies in as well. Because I got all like.
Well, I didn't get them because if I got one here for Hudson, Harley's only a year. If I got one here for Hudson, he's already going to his mum every time, even when he has to go nursery. Can I go nannies? Can I go nannies? So if I had lad for a calendar here, he'd be living here. Looks like he is with some of his toys anyway. She just bought a gingerbread man house yesterday, and she went, they don't even eat it. And I went, yeah, but it's fun to make. I'll eat it. I like gingerbread. And then she went, well, why don't you take it to your house and do it there then? I went, well, no, you buy it and do it, and then he can bring it back to nannies. She went, no, you do it. And I went, no, you do it. It's your child. You do it. It's your child. But it is funny. If I had an advent calendar every day, we go, can we go nannies to get my advent? Open up my thing. So no, there is no advent calendars in nannies. Wasn't for my older two grandchildren.
Oh no, I gave it to them to open. Yeah,
and Amy's got hers for the kids. So that's mummy's job. Nanny, not granny, because I don't feel that old, is not doing that. Getting back to, because like I said, I know we want to have a laugh, but we still got to be serious about some of the stuff that's going on. I then looked at divorce rates. I had to. And do you know why I had to? Because my second husband, who I thought was a reasonably nice person, actually, for quite a few years, wouldn't have married him otherwise, acted really bizarre the build up to Christmas. Really bizarre.
What, every Christmas?
No, last year. Last Christmas, my only granddaughter, the one I don't see, is now 11, and she had just been born. So she was a newborn. For Christmas. There's a picture of us at the tree with my grandchildren then, because Amy hadn't had hers. And you could see it in his face. It was like he really wasn't enjoying it. He didn't want anyone to come round. He was really acting weird. And the change was quite quick. He'd just started a new job in the November. And I remember looking at him thinking, what's up? Because, we made a real big thing about Christmas. We always had the family round both days. And I'm thinking, he's acting really weird. And I remember saying down the line when obviously we split up the following year, on New Year's Day, I woke up and looked at him and thought, you're not my husband.
Yeah, you keep saying about the walking.
Oh, well, as I became more spiritual and realised that he was probably suppressing that anyway, I was said that I had a walk-in, which, again, we will discuss at a later day when we get back on the spiritual side. But I literally felt like I'd woke up next to a stranger. And I remember thinking, I can't do this. He's gone from a really, not fantastic partner, but he was a good partner. He was a good husband, good father, good stepfather. And he just started acting really weird in the space of that period. And then I remember thinking all through January, thinking, I can't do this again. Not a second time. I can't do this again. And by the July, it'd gone anyway. So it took a while. But the weird thing on statistics is people obviously don't divorce on New Year's Day, and they'd have to have a bloody good solicitor for that, wouldn't they? But you can wake up on New Year's Day again and think, well, do you know what? I'm not doing another year with you. I'm not doing this again. I mean, and maybe that's what he did. He woke up and looked like but I actually was the one looking at him thinking, you've changed. There's something wrong. I did ask him, is there another woman? Let's be grown up about it. He said, no, how could you think that? Should have stuck with my instinct because it was another woman. Even now, he's still, well, we don't see him. We do know where he is, unfortunately, if you're watching, John. We do know where you are, but we don't care. But I should have stuck to my instinct and it was a very hard time for me, as you know, and for his son that he's not seen. But It's weird how that onus of Christmas flipped into a new year. Like you said, it wasn't a New
Mm.
Year's resolution because I've never really done them, but something about that fresh new year, that depleted January that gets everyone, made me think you're not going down this route again. You're not having someone else make you miserable again. So that's an interesting thing. So I Googled it and it said that it's usually January, New Year's Day, that people also look at their relationships and go, done,
Mm.
don't want this no more. And it's the build up of Christmas, the expectation of Christmas, or the whole family, or because it's a time that most people are home as well, in it. They're not.
Mm.
So people get all excited. Oh, I'm going to spend time with my partner. I'm going to spend. And actually, the more time you spend with them, the more you go, hurry up, go back to work. It was quite an
Here's the
interesting
thing.
thing.
Do you know, well, I used to watch TV, which I don't really, but do you know, like coming up to Christmas time, because now you've just sort of jogged my memory of it. I remember watching This Morning, when you've got Dear Deirdre or whoever she is.
I think
I
she
don't
still
know.
gets on there,
Is
you
she
know.
still
Yeah, I
there?
went round Amy's and she
So
was on there.
it's whoever she is.
I bet Mystic
Hi,
Meg's hanging
Deirdre.
in the background somewhere.
But I just saw the only name I could think of. Is it Dear Deirdre?
It is Dear Deirdre, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, no,
Dear Deirdre.
you got the phone in. The phone in was about, Christmas and when I say unwanted visitors, I'm not talking like the spiritual kind. I'm talking about, the mother-in-law or your own mother or father or father-in-law or family that really don't like you or pick at you or horrible to you. Often behind the scenes, where the other partner can't see it. But, your partner might want, their mother or father or whoever to come. Might even be a stepchild who's particularly nauseating. But what I mean is here, how there's a big thing, isn't there, about having to invite this person or having to invite that person, or because you've gone to this person this year, going to that person next year. Do you know what? If I was in that case, I would just say, I'm not going to any of you. I might see you on Christmas Eve, might see you on Boxing Day. You know what I mean? Luckily, I like my family, but and and my partner's family are all in Spain because he's Spanish. And they're really, really lovely people. But it must be so hard, mustn't it, to be in that position where you feel like it's almost a thing. What do you call it? Like a given that you have to spend time with people that really you don't like or what have you.
I think that is one of the pressures in it. And that normally comes from couples because it's like I said when we talked about it last week, I'm not going to your mother's. Well, stay home then. But it is that pull.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, and obviously we've both had children and then not been with the partners, how hard it is for the children and the partners when my children always were with me, my oldest children. And I know that was very selfish of me looking back, but I'm a very domineering person. My ex-husband tell you that. And I went, no, they stayed with me on Christmas Day because they were young. Look, Amy was 3 when Sean went. So they were young.
And they just want to
so I thought, no, they're staying with me.
Things.
But then he would have them at tea time and have them overnight for Boxing Day. But he'd bring them back in the afternoon so that then they carried on spending with my family. Because I was normally at my dad's when they were young. It was a bit selfish of me because we're both parents, but it was a bit like, well, you had the affair, you chose to go, so you know what, they're staying with me. But then as they got older, and then I obviously got older, I thought this is quite selfish. And then I obviously got with my second husband, and Drew was actually due on Boxing Day, and I was a little bit poorly near the end of the pregnancy, being an older mum, apparently. That's what they say. A geriatric mother at 35. And I actually said, do you know what, do you want them? Because I didn't want to ruin their Christmas because I'd been in and out of hospital with scares. And I went, why don't you have them? Because I don't want their Christmas ruined. And because that was the floodgates for sure. Because it was after that year, he went, well, you let me have them last year. So we then had it alternate years. And the kids were going into their teens. Lewis was in his teens. So it was their choice, actually. So we flipped it. They'd be with me Christmas Day one year, him the other. And it went from there. But they still, even now as adults, even when they had their own families, they had to, when Lewis was married and was with his partner and kids, he had to choose. Well, he didn't have to choose because he was quite stubborn like me, but he'd have me and Sean to see, and then his wife would have her mum and dad to see. To be fair, she tended to stay more with her family only on Christmas Day. And then Amy had to do the same thing when she got with Freddie. So it's like, then you've got this whole divide going on. And it's great having 2 sets of parents sometimes, but actually, come Christmas, there's only 2 days and everyone wants a Christmas day. It's like, and this is me now. I go, yeah, do you want? Yes, no, fine. Amy's going to go to her friends for Christmas, Boxing Day this year, first time, because she'd normally be with me. I went, yeah, that's all right. And she went, well, who's coming to yours? I went, no, go to your friends. Because I'm more like, less for me to worry about.
Mm.
And I'm going to see her Christmas Day anyway, because I'm going to hers. But there is such an onus, isn't there, put on who you're going to see as well when you've got
But
divided
imagine though,
families.
if you don't like them. I mean, that is
Well, there's
horrendous.
the stress of having to you've got 4 sets of parents if you're in a marriage,
Mm.
or then you don't like any of them. And I didn't like my ex-father-in-law, and he didn't like me either. So that was a no-brainer that I never went anywhere near his house at Christmas. So there you go.
Mm.
And he definitely won't be watching this.
But if you're watching this, I mean, I don't want to, don't have a row about it, but you've got to think about yourselves. If it's such a problem that you want to go, you don't want to go here, or you don't want these people over, arrange to do something on, Christmas Eve with one of them and Boxing Day with the other, and have Christmas to yourself, or do whatever you want to
Yeah.
do. Bugger off to
And if you're
Spain.
and if you're in a couple with your young family, like my daughter is now, do your own thing. I've said that to my daughter.
Mm.
If you want to stay indoors on your own, do your fam, do it, because that's what I started doing when they were young. So if you just want your family and spend that day as your family, just doing your own thing, do it. Don't feel pressurised to have everyone.
Mm.
If you are on your own, like Polly said, and you feel that, if you are on your own and you don't want to be, then put yourself out there. I know that's hard, but put yourself out there. I've had people around Christmas and Boxing Day. I can't bear to think of anyone spending it on their own if they're unhappy about it. And I have invited people around, and I would actually, I've always said this, I'd go and work and serve dinners up in a homeless shelter as well. But apparently you've got to do that all year. You don't get the invite on Christmas Day.
All right.
That sounds mad, I know. But if you are feeling vulnerable, or you don't want to be on your own, and there is someone out there, either invite someone to you or put yourself out there to be invited, because sometimes people think you're all right about it. And if you're not, speak up. And if you are, fair play to you, because I said this last week, my favourite Christmas, and that's not me being a Grinch, because I love my family being around me, especially the kids, but my favourite Christmas of all time was COVID year, because I didn't get out my PJs all day Boxing Day, and I laid watching all the programmes I wanted to watch without having to watch them on later. And actually this year that might be happening again, because I'm really unhappy about Stranger Things ending, and I've got to wait till Boxing Day for the rest of the series. So anyone coming to me, and that'd be my brother and his older children, you might have to, I don't care that it's on Netflix and I can watch it anytime. I want to watch it because I am really hooked on Stranger Things.
Oh, honestly, my favourite. I even want a Demogorgon onesie. I want a Demogorgon onesie because I never realised I was such a nerd, but apparently I am now. Because
what, you want one of them?
A Stranger Thing. I want to be a Demogorgon.
That's the thing that opens its mouth up. See, I'd rather have the House Angels T-shirt that they were wearing.
Yeah. Oh,
see how different we are.
no, because I saw.
Why would you want to look like a Demogorgon?
I saw a bag in Primani that I nearly bought you, the Hellfire Club.
I'll have the House Angels T-shirt, but yeah. But I think on that note, because we didn't want to depress people, but we want people to know, with the 3 weeks to go, if you are on your own and you're lonely, don't be lonely. Put yourself out there, or go and find. There's always someone putting something out about clubs or going somewhere to have a Christmas dinner, even if it's the day before, a couple of days before. I know a friend that goes around an old people's home and they all do the dinner and make a Christmas thing. It hasn't got to be on the 25th of December. Your Christmas can be on any day you want it, and the 25th of December can just be another day, normal day. And if you take that day out of it, it makes it less stressful.
It's not a big deal.
And what and like Polly said with the church thing, we're not religious, but I do love a carol service. Talking on that, my son's church, he's been put on the banner outside, so you can't get away from him now. He's actually on the banner across the front of the church. Really? Yeah, which when he got baptised in April, which I think is quite funny because obviously it's by where his children and his ex-wife live. So I love my grandchildren and I miss them dearly. So, and I do still communicate with my eldest one, but it's just access to him. But her whole entire family are going to see that. And in a way, that's sort of made me laugh. But I'd love to go to his church for the Christmas service. I said that to him because I like that. But Christmas, the real word for Christmas was the birth of Jesus. Believe in God or not, believe in Christianity or not, Christmas was about the birth of Jesus. It was about him being found in that stable with Gabriel and see, we know our stuff, we still know it. And that is where people, like you said, have gone away from it. So if you are on your own, go to your local church and meet people in the Christmas service.
You don't have to be deeply religious.
No, you don't. You just need a community, and a community brings that that back to you, whether you're religious or not. They're a community, and if they're a true community service, they're not going to force you to be following their beliefs. They're just going to welcome you with open arms. So we will end on that happy note, religious or not. Go and sit somewhere with a local community, a local church, where you are made to feel welcome, where you are made to feel loved, where you don't have to go through this on your own. We will not talk about Christmas next week, because by next week everyone's going to be stressed and looking for the bargains. They're not worn out from Cyber Monday and Black Friday that's just gone.
Whatever else, Tuesday.
We will
went for a drink.
We will, because I suppose we could do parent alienation next week, as it is come.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll
try and keep maybe a bit lighter.
Yeah, we'll keep it a bit lighter.
Next week even.
And yes, please do comment though. It really would make a difference if you commented under the YouTube or the Spotify, or even when we share it on Facebook. Comment so that we know you're interacting, and give us your opinions, even if you don't agree with us, so that we can interact and do it that way. When we have enough, we are getting the followers and we are getting people watching it, but when there's more to interact with, we will do a live. It will be a live a bit like this, but it will be a live where we will give some messages, a few maybe.
If you interact.
But the whole idea of this, whether we are working psychic mediums or not, and healers and teachers and everything else we do, we also are human beings, people with opinions on everyday life. And spiritually is what gets us through it, because we trust our spiritual side to get us through it. Certainly me, because I should be a straitjacket. And we want that to come across as well. We are not just fluffy or fake mediums. Maybe we should talk about that next week.
Yes.
There's a story that was on the media this week, actually. And we might do that one.
Will you save it?
Yeah, we will. Yeah. But we are still people with opinions and human, and we are not just mediums that are in a woo-woo land. So on that note, we will love you and leave you.
And see you next week.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.